Welcome to the Half-Built Bridges presentation. Now, this presentation is designed to be used by BLAM partners, typically at the end of having presented another presentation, maybe at a networking event or another event where you're trying to educate and sell your services, your marketing services to an audience. This presentation also works really well at the beginning of a meeting that you might be having with a prospect in order to present the 73-point checklist. So I'm going to run through the presentation now and break it down as I go along to help you do the same thing, and any BLAM partners that want to use this presentation, they can get a copy of this from your account manager or from the resource centre. So it's called Half-Built Bridges. And it starts with a little stick man sitting on one side of the mountain looking across forlornly at the other side of the mountain. Now, we use a stick man here as a way of expressing somebody who doesn't look particularly happy. And because it's a stick man, it's been proved psychologically that the people that are listening to your presentation will be able to imprint themselves upon that stick man in a much more easier way because of the way that he's designed without any sort of character. And what we say is, we say to the audience, this is you. This is you. Now, you're not very happy because what you're actually looking for is your pot of gold, your metaphorical pot of gold. And that's all of us in business. We're aiming to reach our goals and get across the great chasm that lies between us and our goals. And what we do in business is that we try and build bridges that get us to our pot of gold, to help us reach our goals. But also, so very often what we find is that we build a bridge and we start getting halfway across to the goal, and before you know it, we get shiny object syndrome. And everybody in business will recognize this one. They think, oh, there's something else that I could be doing. There's another thing that I could do. And they start building another bridge. And we all do this, both in business and in life. And before you know it, we've got several half-built bridges, none of which span the chasm to get past all the crocodiles and alligators that might be beneath. And we end up with a bridge that's not finished. And imagine in your world, in the business that you run, the bridges that you have that are half built, the things that you've started and never quite finished because something else came along that took your fancy and you started doing that instead. So what we need to try and do in business is to complete some of these bridges, finish off some of the tasks that we've started to help us get to the other side so that we can reach our pot of gold. And there's our little stick man getting all excited because he's reached his pot of gold. And the people that you're presenting to will have a really good understanding of this, because all of us in business can really engage with this presentation and think of all the things that we've done, and we really relate to our half-built bridges. So, getting back to the presentation, what we then say to the prospects is, now, in order to help us finish some of these bridges, what we've done is we've made a list of all the possible bridges that you could be building. Now, we've identified 73. There's an awful lot of bridges. So I'm talking about, it might be a social media strategy, it might be your Google strategy, it could be your website strategy. There's 73 different ways to grow your business, 73 different bridges to build. So what we've done is we've put together an audit that identifies all 73 of these bridges. And what we're doing is we will sit down with any of you guys that are in the audience by prior appointment to run through this audit and identify the bridges that are available to you in your business, and then just pick one. Pick one bridge that we know we can get finished and get you to start building bridges then that can span the gap and get you to your pot of gold. And that's the point at which you then put in your call to action to book an appointment with you, or if you actually do this at the beginning of a presentation for an appointment that you've already booked, this then sets the scene to help them understand it's a bit of an upfront contract that sets the scene to say what we're going to do is we're going to go through the 73-point contract and we're going to identify just one bridge that we need to build from all those 73 different bridges that are out there. So as I say, this presentation is available to Bland Partners, and this should be practiced and identified using the different techniques that I've talked about. You can actually do this on a whiteboard as well, or on a piece of paper. I've actually done it on a piece of paper, and anybody can draw a stickman, and a stickman is perfectly fine for this. In fact, if you start adding any characteristics to the stickman, it does lose some of its effect. So you can do this yourself. But you'll be amazed at the way that you will engage an audience, because all of us in business can relate to this metaphor, and it sets you up nicely to then conduct the 73-point marketing audit, which is really going to help identify the bridges that you're going to help them build. So I hope that's helpful, guys, and I look forward to seeing the results that you get from it. Thanks very much.